We're common loaded for bear. Yeah, that's not gonna keep me out of anything. All right, here we go. This is gonna be the start of a video. Moved the car back, got it jacked up on some jack stands. That way I can get the race jacks out from the back and give myself a little room to work under here. This is the kind of the double frame wheel that was in here. What we need to do here is pop this chunk of floorboard off. And then I'm gonna drill this out. This is where my trans tunnel comes in. It'll allow me access here to the firewall and see where I could lay my double frame rail tubes and kind of start mapping out a game plan for that. So stand by, front clip's gonna come off. I'm also gonna see where I can land bars up here into the mid plate. So, all right, we got the front clip coming off here. I decided it best to tape around the turbos and just maybe prevent a little dust from getting in the motor. That was the plan anyway. Just cleaning up some wiring, getting ready to work. All right, we're cutting that chunk of floorboard out and we are getting ready to pull the trans tunnel thing like I talked about. Some of those rivets are a little tricky and I'm gonna have to repair the firewall a little bit. But I did get in there and snip some of the firewall and bent it back so I could see where I could land some tube. So I got this little piece of tin out of here. I should have cut this out a long time ago. I know it's offset and it's pretty severe, but I didn't know what I want to do for tin and stuff, so I left it in there. But now I regret not removing it a long time ago because I got to get in there and cut it all out anyway. This is going to go because I got a drive shaft can. I had to cut my firewall and peel it back. I think I'm going to try to land a bar right here. I don't have a measurement. I'm going to grab a tape. So off of the frame, we're going to probably land somewhere around 7 inches. But then I'm going to cut some of this out. I'm going to cut this out. I'm going to cut this out. I'm going to cut probably this, but maybe not yet. And cut this out. And then I'm going to have to do the other side. I might do them one at a time until I get a bar in here. But then it'll be get my seat in here and see where it all lands and how much room I got. And then the other thing is this was where my fire cable pole is, and it's comfortable, but this is where my parachute cable pole was, and I bent this, but dang, I can't tell you how many times I grabbed this bar. It's just not safe. So my air launcher is going to go here. I got an air launcher from Motion Raceworks. I'll show you guys that here in a sec. This is it. So I'm going to make a bracket for that. I'm going to try, if I spend the time to get my seat in there, I'd like to get this thing maybe positioned and my fire cable pole and see just where that all lands and where I'm comfortable in the car. The seat's got to be in there because I need to land like where my bar is going to be, how much supports I can get in here behind the seat, try to tuck something in here to the frame. And I'm going to cut some excess mounts off again like this, and there's this guy, and there's just some other things that I can just keep shaving weight out of here. I tore through the wiring. I need to make a phone call, so I canceled my recording and I pulled a cable apart that was in there. Anything I can do to just shave a little weight. I'm going to try to land the bar below that bolt, and the reason is, maybe it's easier to show you on the other side. Looking at where my header and stuff lands, my plan, see, I can get below that bolt right there. And I can go right to this crotch. See the bolt sticking up right there? Right below the bolt to this crotch, and I'm in the middle. I'm not going to hurt my starter on the other side. I'm not going to mess with my heads, my headers, nothing. And then this bar is super supported. What I could do too is bring a diagonal to here and then come through and diagonal it right to here. And there's a lot of meat and material there. So that's kind of my plan, and I can do that same thing on the other side too. So obviously there's steering and stuff here, but I can go from that crotch to that same front suspension mount diagonal. And this is already pretty well braced up front, so I think that's going to do it. And then, you know, a couple 3 drops with some diagonals, and then I'm going to really reinforce this. But I got to spend the time to clean all this up, get some stuff out of my way, and get ready to work in here. So stand by. So now we're going to move all our crap out of the way here. Maybe you guys are sentimental like me, but this is my favorite block of wood. Like sitting on it when I'm welding under the car. This is the perfect size. If you don't have a relationship with a block of wood, maybe you should consider it. All right. So this is a kit that I bought from Chassis Engineering in Florida, and it's a double frame rail add-on kit that they sell for their chassis. And when I called them, they're super helpful guys, and they said, hey, like, this probably isn't going to fit. I said, man, you know, I know just enough to be dangerous. Go ahead and sell it to me. I got an 80-inch mid plate. I'll make it work. So I don't have a tubing bender. They sold a little bunch of smaller tubing to do all the bracing for the double frame rail. And to be honest, you'd have to buy a bunch of tubing anyway, and for the cost of this thing, it was like $360. And I don't have to do any bending. So there's a kick here up, and there's a kick in. And if I get my seat kind of positioned in here, I like to kind of see where this lands and what I got for comfort. That's all up in my business. See, this is what you gotta know. This is what you gotta know right here. How comfortable is this? Let me put my Zeus's in here. This is all gonna matter. I wondered about this, and you guys wondering with me don't have to wonder no more, because we're here. I have to remake my foot pedal gas pedal. I'm going to have to probably remake my firewall. And I was telling my buddy, hey, why I didn't want to do all this, because I'm redoing like everything I did when I built this thing. It just is really discouraging. Okay, that's actually pretty comfortable in here. This thing's all up in my thigh. So that is going to need to land right at that funny car cage or right on the other side of it. But I think this is going to be okay. Yes, sir. What is going to be tricky is getting all this in here. So I guess my concern would be, how much off from center am I? Not even that right there. want to be able to clear whatever drive shaft contraption I've got cooking. See, actually, if I landed it right where this bar is, that might get me right where I want to be. Got to come out with my seat. Okay, so that needs cut, and then we'll probably try to mount that right where that tab goes. I wanted to give myself about 7 inches for my drive shaft can from center. That's how big that hoop is. And that way I have some room. And what I'll probably do is run a down bar for some more support. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But I think that's, I don't really, this side doesn't really matter. But we're going to copy the other side. So do the hard side, even with headers. Do your steering column side. And then, you know, stuff like this, do the driver's side. But you got to be comfortable in there. Alright, well, it's my kiddo's birthday today, so I'm probably going to call it for the day. Ground quite a bit in here. I think it's ready for some work. Got those brackets off and got that bracket off, but man, there's some porosity right there, so I'm going to have to get in there and clean that up. But I need to clean this other tube off. And then I think I could stab one of the double frame rails. So it's exciting. We'll just see how this goes. Probably be out here tomorrow and hit this thing kind of hard, but we'll see. See ya. All right, here's our little kit. These little bars. We got bars with kicks in them. 3 different bars with kicks in them. This thing's kicked in 3 different spots. So we're gonna throw this together. We're out here this Sunday morning. We are ready to jam. Got a little bit of a plan of attack. So yeah, follow along. All right, first things first. We're gonna lay some of these in here and start figuring out what angle and pitch that these things intersect our tubing. Because we can go probably try to work on the notches on those first. Because once we get that on there, everything should go pretty smooth. Alright, so we're looking at having the back on a 7-inch center here. Okay, so we got our center line for that. So got this thing kind of on the same plane here, and that looks pretty good. So interrupted this super speed to bring you an update. I had to stop what I was doing and go get this bar bent. My buddy Greg hooked me up. He always helps me out, and let me show you. Let me put a kick in here, and this thing was hitting my seat. And I still don't quite have it where I want it, but it's a lot better. And room matters. So I believe we're going to be fine on the transmission here. But let me get my chubby ass in here. Oh. Hard to do and hold the phone, that's for sure. All right. We're riding in here. Oh. We're a little tight down here in my foot box. It's okay. We're good. This is cozy. I don't know. We could have probably kicked this more, but that's okay. That is okay. Okay. Cool. Now I got to make another side. Yeah. Who's excited? Environment's a little messed up. Let me turn on this other light. I'm just closing out tonight. So my phone died again in the middle of filming. Where have you guys been? Not out here with me. You've been inside charging. But I'm going to try to put a picture in. Cue picture. All right. You'll notice this looks a little different. This took some precision measuring and guesswork, but there was a 2-piece bar here that was inch, and I put a support from my new double frame rail down here, and then I was like trying to scheme on bringing a bar from here, preferably right where this one's coming, and going down. And I'm like, well, I'd like to do that 1.25 inches, but this was inch, and I'm like, I have seen big bars like this break on cars. If you do stuff like that, if you start gusseting from the 4-link, like, it's trying to rip these things out of the car. So anyway, I was like, dude, that's got to go. And I kind of, this is a little jerry-rigged, but let me go around. I put this in so I could have a removable flange, and then I had to build a spacer because I had to cut it back out and blah, blah, blah. But I never brought it all the way across. So first I was like, I'm going to bring this. So I made these. They took, I don't know, an hour to make probably. Brought those in, and that's 1 5/8. And then this bad boy is 1 3/4. Oh, Molly, baby. And that's all welded in. And these are welded in back here, but like halfway welded in. I've got to get the motor out. So anyway, I'm going to bring a support here. Probably bring a support here because it's strong. And I wanted somewhere to land because this isn't over the frame rail. And over here, this is going to be into my leg. So See, I can drop a tube right down there, and I can really rigid this up in here. So either 1.25 or 1 5/8 into this, and yeah, start doing some gusseting, get crazy. Like to bring the 4-link bar into it, and just, I got to make some tubes. So not a lot of progress, and I'm sorry. I apologize that you guys missed out on me cutting that. I don't want to be one of those channels. I want you guys here with me. Anyway, I'm kind of excited. I think this is going to be pretty sweet. Then we'll land probably our last support right around here. So there will be 3 kind of stacked in here. And this needs to be strong. I could skip this one. I was just going to do 2. And I still might. I don't know. We'll see. But I think it'll make it a little stronger. So we'll see what I come up with. All right, got a sick kiddo. Got to come out here for a little bit. And I've mostly just cleaned up, but setting these supports in here. I'm still just really stoked on this bar. I mean, this was 1 inch, man. It was in 2 spots. I'm just stoked on it and continuing those. It all turned out pretty good. So yeah, I'm going to weld these down low and then up high, and I'm debating on trying to put something vertical in here, and the reason is I'm trying to imagine trying to attach a tin or a plate or something, and I haven't quite figured out what I'm doing yet. So I mostly just don't want rocks collecting on here. Shit. Because that's a thing, and no, I needed those to stay put. I have these clamps. There we go. Anyway. All right, a little more progress today. Check it out. So this is like a good carpenter knows how to hide his mistakes and a bad carpenter doesn't. I cut this bar too short, and it's got a bend in it, which is going to give me some thigh room. So I really wanted this over here a couple inches, but that ain't gonna work. See, I had that kind of lined up with that old trans cross member tab, but this thing gonna scoot back, and that's okay. It kind of gonna land where this bar angles, but check it out. Got an 1.25 inch upright here, and an 1.25 inch bar that lines up with that 1.25 inch bar. I mean, dude, we got these things all in. There's a lot going on here. So those 4-link brackets got no flex, and it's all welded. Like I said, we got this Haas pipe coming in the middle. And dude, I mean, I really spent some time getting that thing in there. Got this stuff all burned in. And then I think all I got to do is clip these tabs off, and I'm just going to shoot one more. Well, I got to do that side. That bar. But then I just got to shoot probably about where that tab lands, kind of in that hot mess of pipes right there. So we'll see where my foot's comfortable with that pipe going on this side. But if I could land it about right here, whoops, if I could land it about right here, I'd be mint. And then I just got to fully weld that, but everything else is welded, so I'm over it. But yeah, this thing's gonna be sweet. Real quick outro. I didn't want to leave you guys hanging. I was looking at going into the weekend with probably making a couple more videos, or at least a ton of content. So I need to get this sorted out. So I'm going to split this into 2 parts. This is what I got so far. Just me cruising from last weekend and through the week. So I didn't want to just make a massive video that maybe nobody will watch. So get in those comments. Thanks again for watching. See you guys. All right, smash that like button and subscribe.